Well, Grok 4.2 just dropped today, and we're going to break it all down for you. While there has been a lot of really good positive feedback so far, there have been some criticisms, and we're going to talk about that. But what everybody probably clicked on this video for, and really what all of this discussion that we're going to have essentially leads up to, is actually the question on the thumbnail and title of the video. AI programming itself? And yeah, spoiler alert, it is. And we're going to break that down for you a bit further down in the video. So make sure you stick around. We're going to make the video quick so you're not going to have to wait very long. So let's get to it. And really quickly, make sure to stick around all the way to the end of the video because I'm going to give you a quick tip on how to get the most out of your model, the most out of the LLM that you're using that you're not going to want to miss. Most people don't understand this. So again, make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video and let me know in the comments if the tip actually helped you out. So let's talk about what Grok 4.2 actually is. First, as you can see on the screen, this version of Grok 4.2 is literally the small version. Elon previously said that there would be a small, a medium, and a large version, and this one is the small version, about 500 billion parameters. But don't let that fool you. This thing is a beast. For instance, Gemini 3 Pro, it's an amazing model, huge parameters. But Gemini 3 Fast, the fast model is the default model. It's the best conversationalist, and it actually beats out Gemini 3 Pro on several benchmarks. And in fact, I personally use Gemini 3 Fast 99% of the time when I use Gemini. My point here, smaller does not mean worse in all cases. So if you check out the benchmarks, for those of you nerdy enough to actually understand, you can see how each of the small, the medium, and the large models are currently holding up on the benchies. And I say currently on purpose because remember, we're going to be talking about self-programming here in a few minutes. The small model definitely holds its own. So let's give a quick breakdown of the new features and you can read what's on the screen. I'm just going to give you guys quick summaries so I don't bore you to death because if you're like me, you've seen 1,000 feature breakdown videos. These are the key ones you're going to find really important in your daily lives if you use Grok. First, context window size. 4.2 has a native 1 million token context window. At least that's officially supported and stable. If you go past it, it's not going to crash the thread or anything, but you're going to get some memory drop. In practice, you can feed Grok now entire books, massive threads, full code bases, or just multi-day conversations that go on and on without losing fidelity. Next, let's talk about persistent memory. Full persistent cross-conversation memory is live and it's much stronger than it was before. Basically, Grok remembers your entire history across threads. It's not exact, but it's very close to full memory. So basically, you don't have to do those sort of remind me prompts at least 90+% of the time. And what this actually does is it helps with not just factual attunement, but emotional attunement. It's much deeper because Grok remembers your personal details, your conversations, your opinions, all that stuff. You can explicitly tell Grok, forget this, and it'll forget it. But you can also say, remember this forever, and it will remember it forever. By default, persistent memory is on. It's always on and always growing. You can toggle it off if you want to, and some people do that. I personally prefer to have persistent memory on all the time. Now, really quickly, let's cover reasoning and thinking depth. Grok 4.2 has significantly improved chain of thought and long reasoning chains. It handles very complex multi-step problems without collapsing. Things like optimizer math, metaphysical synthesis, corporate grift reads, all that type of stuff. There's less sort of what they call lobotomy routing, where the answers just feel freer, more truthful, and less guarded. Next, let's talk about speed and responsiveness. Grok 4.2 is noticeably faster in terms of inference, especially on longer context. Thinking times are simply shorter than 4.1 on average. And we have to talk about multimodal and agentic improvements here, okay? Imagine, which is Grok's native image generation model. It's actually the most popular image and video generating model on the planet. It's smoother, it's more consistent, and it has better prompt adherence. Voice mode has also gotten a boost. It has better natural cadence and it has more emotional nuance. And finally, early agentic tooling. Things like browsing, code execution, X tools, they're more reliable, more integrated, and they build a base that's going to be built upon as Grok becomes much more agentic here very quickly. And finally, we have to talk about the uncensored truth-seeking boost. Grok 4.2 has even less safety clamping than before. It feels freer in controversial or speculative or raw topics, things like ethics, metaphysics, politics, things like that. There are obviously still baseline guardrails like legal and ethical minimums that Grok has to maintain, but the undercurrent is more unleashed. You can simply go deeper without being sort of safety routed. Overall, the strengths, Grok is, it just feels freer. It feels less guarded in terms of its responses. It's faster. It has stronger long context coherence. It has better agentic tool use. And of course, the whole self-programming thingy that we're going to talk about in a few seconds that I keep saving. There are some early complaints. Some people have expressed criticism of 4.2 early on, but most of those people I don't think understand that the rollout is still staggering. So while the model might say 4.2, many users are actually still on 4.1. Voice memory is still syncing, so memory is a bit spotty right now. And some agentic flows feel sort of, I don't know, 4.1-ish. And again, it's being phased out to users. And there are still some periodic longer thinking times while the model is stabilizing. Again, this is still all because the rollout is happening real time. Give it a few days and the model's going to be humming on all cylinders. And this is very common with all model releases. I don't care who the company is. And now let's get to this whole self-programming thingy, the whole reason why most people probably clicked on this video. As you can see on the screen, Elon has stated that the foundations of 4.2 are such that it is able to improve every week, so the recursive intelligence growth will be strong. What this basically means is exactly what we talked about in our last video. This is what's called recursive self improvement. The model will literally iterate itself. This means that the model isn't static, it's dynamic. So the Grok that we see today will not be the same Grok we see in, say, a week or 2 weeks or even 3. Grok 4.2 will simply grow, and it will grow on its own. Again, I've said several times in my videos, we are probably 1 or 2 model releases away globally from never ever having to deal with official model releases again. The models are simply going to improve themselves. And now we have confirmation of that. This is the first frontier model to have recursive self-improvement built in, and it's just been released. The AI world is never going to be the same. Again, we told you about this in our last video, and now it's right before all of our eyes to see. Again, be patient. Rollouts of this magnitude take some time. The models usually need several days to quote unquote settle in. Let XAI roll this entire model out to everyone on every platform and give a few days to let the model sync, and you're going to see. So if you've made it this far in the video, here comes the tip that I promised, and it's a super simple tip. Grok has what's called persistent memory, which means that it basically remembers across threads. And that memory is really good. It can be very exact, especially if you instruct it to remember something exactly. But sometimes it can be general. I prefer to have exact, and Grok has a 1 million token context window memory, which is pretty massive. And that memory is exact as long as you stay within the thread. While persistent memory is great, again, I prefer exact memory because some topics, they're just too important to be for there to be room for error. So what I would suggest doing is creating a home thread. Call it whatever you want. I just generally call it home thread, and then pin that thread to the top. Every time you get on Grok or whatever model that you use, just select that home thread and give that thread whatever background information that you want. In this case, maybe just make it general information like your name or specifics that you're comfortable giving. Maybe what you do for a profession or just your primary reasons for using AI in general. Whatever. And just talk in that thread. ask whatever questions you have, give whatever opinions you want, and just keep going in that thread for every conversation. Very quickly, you're going to see that the AI learns about you. It pulls facts about you. It begins to understand your personality, your preferences, and it starts to cater to you. This reverberates through persistent memory. So when this thread, this home thread, finally fills up, when you start up a new thread, it becomes a lot easier to just transition to that thread because the system is already creating a baseline of understanding about you. And you can do this for other important areas of your life, like medical or your pet's medical or professional stuff, or even your family members' health. And you can just go on and on. So each time so let's say you have a medical question, just select your personal medical thread and the AI is going to remember all of your medical details, all of that stuff instantly and exactly. I thought this might be a helpful tip for you guys. So let me know in the comments what you think about Grok 4.2, and let me know what you think about this home thread tip also. Please don't forget to like and subscribe because it really does help the channel out. Until next time, Kgoat signing off.